So tonight's topic, the COVID-19 marathon from vaccines to wastewater signals. We'll be hearing from Andrew Young. Andrew is the creator of wwater.ca and the founder of Vaccine Hunters Canada. He'll be sharing his journey advocating for COVID-19 protection and awareness, which began at the onset of the pandemic in 2020. By day, Andrew works as a web developer at a Canadian university. By night, he delves into coding and innovation, leading to the creation of civic tech initiatives such as Vaccine Hunters and wwater.ca, which aim to assist and benefit Canadians. So let's offer a warm welcome to Andrew here.
Thank you. So hi, my name is Andrew Young, and I am grateful for everyone in this room and everyone online and who might be watching this in the future on YouTube. And sorry, can everyone hear me okay? A little bit? Okay, I'll increase my volume a little bit. Okay. So as you can clearly see, I am super excited to be here. I dressed appropriately for my topic, which is the COVID-19 marathon, from vaccines to wastewater signals. So let's get started. Oops. Sorry, okay. I got it. Sorry. So I want to start off with going completely all in on the theme of a marathon. This is a still from Forrest Gump. So Tom Hanks, he decides to randomly run across the United States for many months, and so this is how I kind of feel on the inside. Like I feel like since 2020, the start of the pandemic, it's been sort of like an endless jog. Some months are like sprints. I can say that in 2021 during the Vaccine Hunters Canada days, it was almost a continuous sprint. So there is a saying, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So this is a personal mantra that I've been telling myself basically for the past 5 years, as a way to not burn myself out, as well as to like slow down, try to enjoy life, but at the same time enjoy it safely. Um, and it's helped me a lot. And so here is what I will be talking about today. Today, my talk will be about 10 minutes. It'll be a brisk walk. So first off, I'll talk about myself. Second, I'll talk about vaccines. Third, wastewater. And four, I will go over a few takeaways. So first about me. So who here is curious about what I look like underneath my mask? Okay, here you go. That's what I look like. But seriously, here's a collage I put together. That was actually me as a baby. These are all photos of me. So as mentioned, I work as a full-time web developer. I have a degree in Bachelor of Commerce, Digital Media Solutions. Contrary to popular belief, I don't have any medical public health background. I'm purely, I'm heavily a coder. And I develop things usually out of curiosity, but sometimes out of irritation. Um, I'll circle back to this later. So what does my COVID-19 toolkit look like? So I have my KN95 mask. I have N95s, rapid tests, CO2 monitors, like a AirNet. In the bottom left corner, I also have, make sure I'm up to date on boosters. Sometimes I do mouthwash with that contains CPC and nasal spray. So I feel like, and I also have my 3 landlords as well. I'm a cat person. So vaccines. So everyone in this photo, I can safely say that they are absolute champions. One of them is here in the room right with us, Jerome. Sorry to single you out. But yeah, funny story. So um, many of my team, naturally, they've used me as a reference for job applications, grad school applications, and I would do anything to make sure that they succeed. One example is one of them was applying to grad school, and they accidentally misspelt my email address. So instead of Andrew at vaccinehunters.ca, uh, they s- they misspelt one letter, um, and I figured that it would be really awkward for them to like contact the grad school, say that there was a mistake in their application. So I did not want them to do that. So I actually bought the domain with the typo. I set up Andrew at typodomain.ca and made sure that it worked. And yeah, they got in. So yes, I would do anything for my team. They're the absolute best. They, yeah, I can't say how grateful I am to them. And in the interest of time, uh, one of my members actually spoke to Civic Tech Toronto in Hacknight number 317. Her name is Natalie Pinchin. Yeah, she spoke on November 9th, 2021. So you can check out her talk there. She did a wonderful job. And I actually created a short link if it's easier. So vaccinehunters.ca/317. And realizing that we are at Toronto Star, I went ahead and looked through our media page and found that Toronto Star featured Vaccine Hunters Canada 10 times within 8 months back in 2021. So I just want to personally thank Toronto Star for supporting um, Vaccine Hunters Canada, as well as our mission to help Canadians ultimately. We were all volunteers, civic tech through and through. We turned down all donation attempts because personally, I feel that money complicates things, and I wanted to keep things simple. But yes, thank you. And the third topic is why, the main reason why I'm here. So on the right-hand side, I have a picture of an oyster with the a wastewater, the wwater.ca logo in place of a pearl. So can anyone in this room tell me how pearls are formed? Yes. So yeah, if yeah, they're formed out of irritation. So two screenshots. First one is one from CBC. It says Ontario halts wastewater testing for COVID, comma other viruses. And the one on the right is they archive their wastewater monitoring page, which previously had their very useful wastewater graphs. So just like how pearls are formed out of irritation, I created wwater.ca for the same reason. So the timeline is Wednesday, July 31st, 2024. They stopped their wastewater program. Like 8 days later, I start wwater.ca. So I spent all weekend playing around with how to recreate their wastewater graphs using a different data source. So the data source being the Canadian Public Health website, and the link is below. And so this is what it looks like. So I really liked the Ontario graphs because they were just static images, easy to share. I'm a member of many still COVIDing groups, and I found that members regularly posted the graphs to the group every time there was an update. So I wanted to sort of continue and support that. And a bonus is it not only includes COVID-19 data, but it includes RSV and influenza A and B levels. And not only does it include Ontario, but it includes other provinces and territories. And it also includes several municipality level specific graphs, like this is one for Toronto. And hot off the press, midnight, at midnight, I deployed updates to make it bilingual finally. And just want to single Jerome out again for providing the French translation. So thank you. And so what's the significance of wwater.ca? So it helps answer some questions like how much virus is currently out there? If for people in leadership positions, it helps answer the question, should I encourage my employees to work from home or continue working in the office? So as you can see, like this is December 1st. And as a manager, like I would care about I would think I would care about the well-being of my employees and just like encourage everyone to work from home if possible. Another thing it helps answer is when should I book my dentist appointment? do I dine in at this restaurant or do takeout or delivery? And the last one, do I attend Civic Tech Toronto Hacknight 494 in person? So multiple usages, very simple graphs. Um, so yeah, I try to keep it as simple as possible. And now the technical stuff, just a brief overview. Um, so on a regular basis, it checks for any updates from the Canadian API. And if there is an update, then it clears there are two levels of caches. There's a local one I keep on my server, and there's one on my CDN. So CDN, in the whole elbows up movement, I've migrated from Cloudflare to Bunny, which is a Slovenian company. Highly recommend it. But yes, so if there's an update, it clears the caches. The graphs are all set to automatically generate on if the cache doesn't exist. And then it notifies me about which provinces or territories have updated graphs. And then I manually review them and post to Blue Sky and Mastodon, not X. So takeaways. So what have I learned over the past 5 years? So this is a photo from Goodwill Hunting. Beautiful movie. Um, First off, it's not your fault. So I feel that the pandemic has really exacerbated and compounded trauma and guilt in many people. Um, and it's very important to know that we can't change the past, but we have ourselves and each other to create a future that we want to live in. So it's very important that, yeah, it's like civic tech TO is very important. I've personally found, I feel like I found my people here. Second, don't give up. So the whole theme about the marathon, um, first step is always the hardest. Make sure you don't, I guess, burn yourself out. Pace yourself. And third point, kindness is contagious. So this one, during the vaccine hunters days, several people told me that I would never have to pay for my own beer for the rest of my life. But thankfully, they never followed up on that. So, uh, but yes, kindness can be like holding the door open for someone, or as simple as a wave or a smile. Um, and I feel that random acts of kindness and paying it forward they almost always go together. So that sort of confirms that it's contagious in a good way. Um, so in relevance to civic tech, each and every civic tech project that everyone in this room has started or is contributing to is like holding the door open for someone. It's an act of kindness, and I want to personally thank each and every one of you. And on that note, I'm grateful to Civic Tech Toronto, Toronto Star, And to you all for having me and for your time today. Thank you. Oh yeah, any questions?
That you saw.
Oh, sorry.
What, oh, what was the gap that you saw in government services, or the failure perhaps on their part that necessitated you to take action and develop these products?
Thank you. I hope that's okay. Okay. So in terms of the vaccine rollout, that's a very good question and one that's very difficult to answer because um, I hate to use this word, but things were unprecedented. Yeah, like there was no playbook. Although in Toronto we did have SARS, but nothing at the scale of COVID-19. And what Vaccine Hunters Canada did was we tried to fill in the gaps because each province and territory, they had different vaccination rollout strategies. Like, for example, British Columbia, everyone could pre-register and they were prioritized by age and conditions, whereas Ontario was more, how should I say, it was more exciting. In terms of wastewater, it's very unfortunate that the Ontario government stopped the wastewater program. As you can say, you can see, I was slightly irritated, but thankfully, the federal government had a very limited number of wastewater testing sites, but it was enough for me to build wwater.ca. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Any other questions? Then we can turn it over to online after this one.
You strike me as a very humble person, but my question is going to challenge that a little bit. in both the projects that you talked about, there was a kind of a crisis of some sort, and we can probably all remember those early days of COVID when we were kind of sort of panicked, and many of us were trying to figure out what can we do to help. And so I'm curious. So, in both of these cases, like you stepped up, you figured it out, or whether you're alone or with a team, you organized something that got traction and continued. And I think that those are really exciting and really inspiring moments. So I'm curious about, like, why did you do that? or what did, what made these projects work? What was happening for you and for your team in those moments that it sort of gelled and took off?
That's a wonderful question, and thank you. In terms of, first I'll start off with the wastewater project. So wastewater, it's a much smaller scale. It's almost incomparable to the work that went into Vaccine Hunters by myself and my wonderful team. wwater is largely self-automated. So it's I did see a gap because I did rely on the Ontario wastewater graphs myself. So I was, yeah, I said this multiple times, but I was so irritated that they ended the graphs. So I decided to spend a weekend to try to recreate that. And managed to. And in terms of vaccine hunters, it really all started because I wanted to protect my parents. Because in the early days, only hospitals were starting to administer the doses to, I believe, 70 plus. They had various pre-registration forms of a very limited number of hospitals, like Sunnybrook, I believe, was the first one of the first in Toronto to offer pre-registration. So what I did was create a script that monitored their website and would alert me if they even changed or added like a period. And I would manually go and check to see if they've added a registration form. And eventually they did. And I managed to get my parents registered and they got their first doses. And then I kept getting these notifications. So I decided, why not share this information? So I set up the Vax Hunters Can, back then it was Twitter, account, and just started posting these updates. And at first, it was very limited because it was just me. And it was specific to like Norfolk General, Sunnybrook, Toronto hospitals. And then people started saying, oh, this hospital started registration. And others said like, oh, I'm kind of interested in sharing updates about what's going on here in British Columbia. And that all continued, and we managed to expand both our team and our scope. So coast to coast to coast. And so ultimately it was a team of 104 volunteers, just under 500,000 followers on social media. And we've kind of estimated to have helped 1.2 million Canadians, but it's very hard to gauge that. Yeah.
Ashish, do you have questions online?
Okay, there's one question online from Jason, but I myself have a question this time. So can I go after Jason, please? Jason, you first.
Sure. First of all, thank you, Andrew. This has been really insightful. I really love the work you're doing, and I think it's very commendable. I'm curious, you mentioned Bunny as your CDN. I'm very curious, and actually myself in a similar role, and I'm curious what you guys use for your hosting solution. If you have another sort of non-big tech solution you might be able to recommend for others looking to start a similar sort of platform.
Right now, I'm using namecrane.com. They offer shared hosting, so it's pretty cheap. It's like $3 per month. It's a Canadian company, but they have, unfortunately, they don't have servers in Canada.
Oh,
So I'm kind of looking around.
under yeah, I feel that. Thanks. That's really good to know. I appreciate that.
But yeah, my experience with Bunny has been excellent. Yeah.
Actually, I wanted to pass the mic to Richard first. Would you like to go ahead first, Richard?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Like, so you said that you like to build things like out of irritation, which I thought was cool. What do you have anything on your mind like right now that you were thinking of building, or any interesting threads, leads you were thinking about?
That's a really good question. like recently, it's not web related or anything, but I did recently set up a triple monitor stand. So I've been trying to play around with how to automate different things. Like when I log in, have certain windows move to a certain monitor. It's very unrelated, but I like to tinker around with things.
Oh,
Cool.
actually, I may be working in the same direction. I'm using Home Assistant and NFC tags that I've placed on my table to allow for each individual monitor to turn on or off and select the right input because I've got multiple devices over here. So maybe I can discuss it with you at some point in time.
Sounds good.
Sorry, I jumped in there. Anyone else has any questions, or I'll start with one?
Yeah, and Ashish,
Okay.
yeah, after your question, then we'll move on to the breakout sessions. So,
Okay. Just wanted to ask, we have got quite a big audience over here, and we're all inspired with your irritation. Let's be honest, even I was irritated with Doug Ford at one point in time. I made an app similarly. But the thing is, how do we find that gap today? Like, we have a few students also with us. How do we now try to find out gaps? At that point of time, you had one particular thing that you fought out with. Now, today, we are trying to find it out for all of us, wherein maybe we can build something slowly. And that gap is what we're trying to hunt. Any suggestions, thoughts, even wishes on how we can do that would help, because I'm running blind. What I've done is I'll talk about later.
The first thing that comes to mind is the dashboard that was mentioned earlier. I feel like that tool would greatly increase like transparency in city councils at the city council level to help alert us about what's happening at a city level. So kudos to the dashboard team again. But yeah, that's the first thing that comes to mind.
all right. Well, thanks again, Andrew. And we'll now we're gonna switch gears. Well, yeah, round of applause for Andrew. Sorry.